Hey, this is Casey with 3Z Stereo. Today we're going to learn how to add shake quickly and easily to our 3D stereo footage with the 3Z preset. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open my 3Z Stereo preset folder, and I'm going to open the 24p sequence because I know I'm working in 24p, and it'll open up, and the very first thing I'm going to do is save as. I'll just save to my desktop and I'll call it shaker. Great. Now I'm going to import my footage. I have two QuickTime files here that I've actually rendered from Maya, and just import them, and I'm going to drop them on my drop zones, right and left. Okay. So now I have both views loaded in my right and my left drop zones, which updates in my Edit 3D sequence. And we have these two letters coming together like that. And what I want to happen is when these two letters come together, I want it to shake the camera so we can kind of feel the weight of these letters. So what I'm going to do is go into my cam shake control, and we have three slider controls. We have shake amplitude, shake frequency, and scale compensation. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to set my frequency, and let's say, I don't know, 6. What that means is my camera is going to shake 6 times per second. And then amplitude is how much does it shake. So the more we go up, the farther this frame moves. And so shake amplitude is what we're going to animate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit page up and page down to go through my video, and right when they come together, which looks like frame 11, I'm going to hit a keyframe on shake amplitude, just like that. I'm going to hit U to bring up my keyframes in the timeline. This is right where I want it to start shaking, but the frame before this, I'm going to hit page up. This frame, I don't want any shaking because these letters haven't even touched yet. And so I'm just going to hit and add a keyframe, and the amplitude is 0. Go to the next frame. This is where I want it to start shaking, so I'm just going to bring this up a little bit, maybe 25. So now I can see this shaking a little bit. And I'm just going to let it shake for a couple seconds and bring it down. And so I have 3 keyframes here. I have a keyframe where it's not shaking at all, keyframe where it's shaking the most, and then it dies out. You can see this number dies out as we go to the 0 keyframe, and it eventually stops shaking down here at 2 seconds and 15 frames. So I'm just going to preview that. So that's shaking pretty well, but look at these edges. This is shaking the video, and so there's actually not enough picture information to justify shaking this much. So how do we get around that? We just scale it up a little bit. Let's scale it up, let's say 4. Okay, and that's 4%. So now we don't see those edges. So that's one shake, but what I actually want to do is I want to animate 2 shakes in this timeline. So after these letters come together, they slam into this back wall here. And so I also want it to shake when they hit the wall. So here they are about to crash into the wall, and we do the same thing. Looks like they hit on, looks like frame 313. So on 313, I want this to be shaking. And so I'm just going to hit a keyframe, and I'm going to hit page up and go 1 frame before it, set a keyframe, and then go down a couple seconds, set another keyframe. And so all these 3 keyframes are at 0 right now. So I'm just going to set my 1 keyframe here, this is where it should be shaking, to shake. And let's say, well, let's make it shake a little more, 38, okay? And then look at our edge here. So what we can do is we can actually animate our scale to compensate here. So let's go to this shake. So this is the first shake. This is the most it's going to be offset, 25. Hit our scale compensation time clock, Then I'm going to go to our next shake keyframe at 313 when it hits the wall, and I'm going to bring this scale up just enough to cover that edge. That looks like it'll work. And so now this is very slowly scaling up, but you don't really notice it because you're looking at these 3D letters. And so we're just going to preview it, make sure it looks okay. So that's shaken pretty well. And of course you'd take your time and adjust all your parameters and make it look just how you want to. But for the sake of this tutorial, that looks pretty good. What's cool about this is this automatically updates in my anaglyph, so I can actually view this effect with my 3D glasses, and you have a very cool, very professional looking, very easy shake effect for your stereoscopic footage. And of course, like any footage you bring into the 3Z preset, you can adjust your floating window and geometry controls, so I can go ahead and make my convergence adjustments and do everything I need to, either before or after I add my shake. Anyway, that does it for me today. Make sure to check out our other tutorials on 3Z stereo. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment on the video, and I will catch you next time.